There you go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ricardo Bosi, National Leader of Australia One, and welcome to this Green Room Extra on Anzac Eve. And it's appropriate we have our return special guest, and I'm sure you've guessed who he is. He's everyone's favourite ex-communist and now man of God. And he's going to give us an update on how the national strike for Australia is progressing. Now, John's been very busy. And as I said, it's appropriate it's on Anzac Eve because this is a real war and it needs real soldiers to fight it. So, John, welcome back, son. Great to see your smiling face. I'll tell you what, I'm going to fire and forget. You're a fire and forget weapon of mass destruction. So, before I do that, though, how have you been? How's business? What's been happening?
Ricardo, great to see you, great to talk to your lovely audience, and where the heck do I start? Okay, listen, on the exciting side of what's been unfolding on the National Strike Australia is Strike Action number 2, Rick. It's been announced. It was announced last night on the Gold Coast at a big meeting of My Place at the very well attended, well over a couple of hundred people down at the Gold Coast chapter of My Place, and what a wonderful group of people. They very kindly asked me to go down and be a keynote speaker last night, and I formally advised the gathering, the event last night, that Strike Action number 2, as of 6 p.m. last night, had come live, and that is the national strike against still focused on these local councils, still, Rick, okay, focused on these local council, but it's an occupational health and safety strike, an old-fashioned occupational health and safety strike, and it's a strike against these local councils and dosing our potable water, all of our water supplies up with this poison, fluoride. Okay, fluoride. And it was very, very well received by all of the My Place participants last night. Very well received. And I think this is going to be a very, very popular strike action. It's a very low risk to the strikers themselves, very low risk, and it's a very high risk exposure and liability issue for these councils and in particular their chief executive officers, Rick. So that's the big news up front. Strike Action number 2 is live. It's a strike, a occupational health and safety strike against these local councils who are dosing all of our water up with this poison, fluoride. Okay, go to the website, look at the appropriate section. We have all of the templates there, question and answers there, an introduction video there, and the volunteer person is a guy called James Jones from the Gold Coast, and James is going to head up and coordinate. This is the volunteers that are going in behind each of these strike actions, ladies and gentlemen. And James has put his hand up and he's got the experience, and he's going to get in and provide all the guidance and coordination. So Strike Action number 2 is now live, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now I'm going to keep going, ladies and gentlemen, because Rick's dropped out, and there's plenty of other stuff for me to cover. Look, this is housekeeping. It's housekeeping, Ricardo, and to the audience, but I need to answer it. I need to get this issue out of the way, and I'm going to tell you why in a bit. Look, the National Strike Australia and its webpage and the sign up where you sign up. Okay, listen, all of your information, all of it, right? All of that sign up details and anything that you put forward to National Strike Australia goes nowhere else. It goes nowhere else. It is secure. Right now, I can't guarantee 1,000,000% secure because we have the Department of Defence and DARPA and all these other bloody, agencies out there who've incredible capabilities, but in general terms, you've got a very, very secure database that is protected, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first thing. The second thing is everyone that works with me and all the volunteers that work with me on your data that have anything to do with your data have all signed, with no exceptions, all signed a non-disclosure agreement to keep your data private and secure. Now, thirdly, and this is important, Rick, because there was a very scurrilous upload done by another alleged alt media person over this issue, and I want to put it to bed. Listen, Rick, you know, I know, and all the audience needs to be reassured that Australia One nor Rick Bosey has any access whatsoever to any of this data. Rick has never sought access, and nor will he seek access. I mean, Rick's got his own database, his own website, I believe they're working on and improving. I mean, he's not, and he has no access to any of this information. So, ladies and gentlemen, this scurrilous, sort of accusations that are being uploaded on the web by some of these pissants in this bloody freedom movement, that somehow that this National Strike sign-up is a data harvesting exercise by Ricardo Bosey and Australia One is false. It's bloody outright false. This is being very tightly handled and managed, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to get that one out of the way. Thanks, Rick. Let's go on. Let's have a couple of other things. The evidence, ladies and gentlemen, listen, this is what I'm seeing all in Australia, everywhere I go. I see millions of Australians doing everything they can to escape and get out of what's happening in terms of this belligerent occupation. They're doing everything they can to escape its jurisdiction and to escape its reach. I mean, they are dumping big pharma and moving in towards holistic medicines, and they're steering clear away from all medical doctors and big pharma and public health. So there is a huge exodus out of all of the medical system. We are seeing public schools. Public schools are being dumped. All of this, cross-dressing tranny stuff, reading stories to children in libraries, and all of this indoctrination that's going on. We are seeing hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of parents pulling their kids out of the public schools and trying to get out of the jurisdiction of this belligerent occupation. We are seeing, many people are dumping their fiat currency in favour of purchasing other asset classes like gold and silver. They are exiting the banking system and moving into asset-backed cryptocurrencies. They're trying to get out of the system, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing growing numbers of people, many people are refusing to pay any fines and taxes and council rates and so on. Again, they are doing everything they can to get out of this system. Okay, there's no trust, no confidence in any of the legal system, the law system, the judicial system, or law enforcement. There's no trust whatsoever. You're seeing a growth in common law, trial by jury, and other alternative means like Aboriginal law, etc., being explored and pursued to replace what we currently have. We are seeing many people losing any faith in the election system that is fair and it's untainted. Okay, and you are seeing, humanity right around the world, ladies and gentlemen, humanity right around the world, in their hundreds of millions, are dumping this Babylonian system that we are being forced to live under, this belligerent occupation, and they are exiting the system. Once we don't buy what they are selling anymore, once we refuse to eat any more of their bloody poison fruit, okay, their system collapses, ladies and gentlemen. And this strike, this national strike that we are promoting and is growing by the day, fits right into all of that global developments that you are seeing unfold right before your very eyes. Okay. I refer, ladies and gentlemen, national strikes. Go and look what's happening in China. I want you to look and search, do a Google search for Tang Ping, Tangping, in China, okay? Tang Ping, it's the lay down strike. It's going viral, ladies and gentlemen. Young people are going, they're bailing out. They refuse to participate in the high debt and high slave system in the Chinese model, and they are pulling the pin. They're going on strike in their millions, and it's going viral. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, this whole concept, this whole move for a strike here in Australia, its timing and the fit into what is unfolding globally is perfect. It's perfect. This strike is a winner, ladies and gentlemen. It's a laid down misère. It's a laid down misère. Get in and support it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, what we are witnessing is basically this, ladies and gentlemen. Basically this. Give me a tick, please. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that what we are witnessing now is we're witnessing this global satanic Babylonian tree that's had its hands around our throats for generations and hundreds of years. It's dying, and it's coming down, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we have profound changes upon us here in Australia, and those profound changes are going to have some fantastic consequences for us as a nation and all of her people. I think great days are coming, ladies and gentlemen. But, we are going to be freed physically. I believe we're going to be freed financially and physically from this debt-based system. We are also going to be freed mentally. I think we are seeing the death of the mass media and all of the programming, all of the Hollywood and all of the entertainment industry. You're seeing all that come down. I think we are going to be mentally freed. But where we divide, where we separate, ladies and gentlemen, is on the spiritual side of this war. That's up to each and every one of us. Okay, that side of it. We are going to be freed, ladies and gentlemen, but it's up to each one of us, whether or not we want to be freed from this Babylonian system. And some people don't want to be freed from it. They don't want to leave it behind. And I can't help those people, ladies and gentlemen. I can't help them. They have to make their own minds up. But for me, I want out. And I see millions of Australians want out as well. Okay? And this Babylonian system that we've had to endure, that's inflicted so much misery upon all of us, this belligerent occupation, okay, its time has come. We have the ability to remove it. Now, that's created, this strike, ladies and gentlemen, has created the fracture line within the Australian freedom movement. It's now apparent, okay? There are those of us who, one, absolutely understand we have a belligerent occupation. We know that, right? And two, we know what that belligerent occupation looks like. We know the moving parts of it, okay? That's the first thing. And two, we want it gone. And we have others in this country, ladies and gentlemen, who they profit from this belligerent occupation. And so this belligerent occupation, they support it. They are not the courts the cops, the taxation department, the council. They're not them, but they profit from it. You get me? And these people, they're having 2 bob each way. They're having a bet each way, okay? And it's exposed a big fracture line, ladies and gentlemen, this national strike. You have a look and see how it develops, okay? So that's an interesting one. Okay? Let me move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me move on, okay? Another piece of history, if you like, that I want to clarify for everyone out there, because there's been lots of scuttlebutt, okay, that I get, and I want to get rid of it, okay? Now, it is a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, that when I moved on the 9th of February, the national strike motion, okay, that Ricardo Bassi was not my first choice as the seconder for that motion. Now, I had a number of other people wanted to second that motion, and my concerns, I have already uploaded the concerns I held at that time, i.e. There was some danger, real danger, involved in seconding this motion, because it had potential to draw the ire of some very ugly and nasty people who belong to this belligerent occupation. Now, that's on the record. Now, my first, the person I first wanted to second the motion was Darren Bergworth from the My Place group, and I wrote to Darren an email. I've got a copy of all this. I wrote to Darren an email asking for him to consider seconding the motion, and I set it all out, and I gave him a copy of the motion and all this sort of stuff. And anyway, for whatever reason, Darren has declined. He didn't want to do it. Or didn't respond, and I wasn't going to push the issue, but I moved on. And the next logical person for me to, I guess, have this conversation about seconding the motion was Ricardo Bassi, okay? And that's why Ricardo ended up being the seconder for this national strike motion. He was not my first choice. Now, on the 9th of February of this year, for all of the public out there, I would have been proud to have Ricardo or Darren as the seconder of that motion, okay? So I want to make that clear. That's as a matter of fact, that's what's happened with this national strike. And listen, and I really appreciate the welcome and the hospitality I got from the My Place people down on the Gold Coast last night. They were fantastic, and they themselves moved a motion at the meeting last night. A couple of hundred of them moved and seconded that all of them supported the national strike, and that was moved and adopted unanimously by everyone there. So this national strike, I think, has got the ability to cross any of these sort of factional lines and some of these gaps that are out there, and be widely supported. There's no reason why people out there cannot support this national strike, because I believe it crosses all those unnecessary boundaries that are out there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted to set some of the records straight on this. All right. Listen, another one. I want to answer this if I can. Look, a lot of people have been saying, oh, John, you got 6,000, 7,000 people signed up, blah, 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 right? And then they say to me, what happened to the 1 million, 2 million people that were down in Canberra? Okay, where are they all gone? And I'm going to give you my opinion, right? I'll tell you where they've all gone. They've all gone over, and they are all watching and supporting a guy on YouTube called The Spanion. That's where they've all gone, because The Spanion cuts through all of this nonsense and dribble that the Australian freedom movement is carrying on with. I mean, people have abandoned the Australian freedom movement in their hundreds of thousands of people. But over, The Spanion, about a month ago, 4 weeks ago, done an upload about Alice Springs. Okay, went up to Alice Springs and done an upload about it, and he got 3.5 million views. 3.5 million views. I mean, that's where all the people from Canberra, that's where they all are. They're all over on The Spanion's channel. I mean, he done an upload last night or the night before. I went and had a look at, right? And it was about Hobart or Tasmania in the hood. And it was only up 3 hours, and it had 250,000 views and 8,000 likes in 3 hours. I mean, man, oh man, oh man, people are sick of the bullshit, mate. They are sick of the bullshit, and they want something that's real, you know. And I mean, go and have a look at the Spaniard. I don't know if he's your cup of tea, everyone, and I'm not saying he should be or would be. I'm simply saying have a look at the people that he pulls. And have a look at where all the numbers are gone. They've gone to him, in my opinion. Okay. Not sure how I'm travelling, Ricardo or Sarah. I'm just going to keep ticking over. Okay. And let's see where I end up. I'm going to shuffle my notes. Yeah, I want to come back and just, again, just talk a little bit more about what we are witnessing here. Look, what we are witnessing right now is the end of this Babylonian fiat monetary system. I mean, all around me, I am a gold and silver person, have been for a decade, 15 years, right? And I see this fiat currency system collapsing. I see irrepayable debt. I just see them running it up to, numbers which are just never going to be paid back. Okay, so we're going to see a gold and asset-backed reset that will drive a wooden stake through the heart of the global central banking fiat currency slave system. That's what we are watching, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not just the central banks that are being taken down. It's also all of the central banking allies and their partners in crime, like Big Pharma, that makes us weak and in need of loans. Whole industries are going to be demolished. Banking is about to be decentralized and have peer-to-peer payments and settlements. We are being physically freed, as I said before. We are going to be mentally liberated with the collapse of corporate media, but it's the spiritual part. It's the spiritual part, mate, is on you and me individually, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody can make you set your heart on escaping the clutches of this Babylonian world. And I'm asking the question, will you put all of your life force, all of it, into getting out of this collapsing system of contracts and the worship of this fiat cash shit? Okay, that's the question we've all got to come up to now. We're now at that point, and I'm going further. Join the National Strike. Give us your support. Give us your energy. It's not about liking and disliking and all that sort of stuff. It's bringing the tribes together of Australia, and for all the tribes to unite around removing a belligerent occupation that's only getting worse every week, okay? Every week. Some other housekeeping, folks. I've taken delivery of bin stickers, okay, and I don't have the money for distribution, but I've paid for, and others have paid, sponsors have paid for bin stickers and also pamphlets, okay, around Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, where I can get to, I'm already distributing. Right. Also, ladies and gentlemen, beer coasters. Okay, National Strike beer coasters. All right. I've got 5,000 of those. I'd love to get those people and go around the pubs and start talking to people about this National Strike and leaving them with a beer coaster. I think we're at a good position, ladies and gentlemen. 9th of February, we went live with this call. Okay, 9th of March, 9th of April, roughly now about 8, maybe 9 weeks, thereabouts. And in 9 weeks, we have our own website. We have 2 strike actions being rolled out. We've got a third one, which I think people are really going to like, this third one. It's coming up. I'm not ready to announce yet, ladies and gentlemen, but you keep an eye on this third one if we can make this one come live, okay? And we are rolling. We've got publicity stuff and promotional stuff, all this other stuff coming out, and we are pulling people together. I like where we are now. We're not ready. We are just not ready to be overwhelmed with 100,000 people. If that happened, we would be overwhelmed. So we're not ready for all that. We're building up to that. Okay, we are growing this. So stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. National Strike Australia is real. It's run by true volunteers, ordinary people. There's no donations being taken place. We're not collecting money, none of that. We're building this from the ground up, and we're going to make sure it's well led and look, it's ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about the national strike and this fracture line and what it means, okay? And let me try and draw some conclusions to your attention. Okay, look, 2 years ago down in Canberra, when we had that big get-together, that is when we really should have moved a motion for the national strike. But that was torpedoed, right? I'm not going to go over it in any great depth. You know what happened and who done what. Okay, it was torpedoed. Now, in the last 2 years, okay, this group, same group, right, Freemasonic and other power structures, right, have been regrouping and getting their affairs back in order. All right. Now they've largely regrouped. Okay, Okay, they have come to an arrangement. They're all working together, and they've got an alliance. I can see this stuff forging ahead. Okay, and I can see where they've defined the fracture line because they're calling BOCI and us mad. Anything to do with adrenochrome or child trafficking or any of this sort of stuff, we are going to be called insane. Mad, okay, and that's the tactic, okay. That was the tactic that that was used, and I know that's what's coming. So you've got a fractured freedom movement on one hand, where they're going to call us crazy, right, and on the other hand, they're going to say we are the solution. All right. What they need to bring it all together is chaos, right? It's order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. You've got, problem, reaction, and then solution. And they're the things that are in play at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. That's the systems, the control systems that are in play. And I've got to make sure that this national strike does not become and contribute to any sort of chaos, and I won't allow it to. It's that will only play into Freemasonic power planning, okay? Order out of chaos is what they want, okay? So I've got to keep this this strike very targeted, right? Very clean, very targeted, and very disciplined, okay? No chaos, ladies and gentlemen. No craziness and no chaos, because that's what our Freemasonic power structures want us to play into. All right, so I wanted to bring that up and just bring that to your attention. I can see this fracture lines. I can see that you have three groups here in Australia. You've got us, we are the oppressed, and then we have on top of us a belligerent occupation. But over to one side, we have a group of Australians which do very well, very, very well out of this belligerent occupation. Okay, the belligerent, I'm only giving you an example, the belligerent occupation will go and start the war. But the profiteers will go and start a factory to make soldiers' uniforms and guns and stuff like that to make money out of the war. Okay? And we have a group of those people here in Australia, and those people have been invited in to the freedom movement to eat at our table. You've got to ask yourself the question, why are they eating at our table and who invited them in? You understand me? A lot of work's been going in here, ladies and gentlemen, to really drain your resources, to drain your energy, and to tire and weary you. Okay, I'm saying you've got to have one more fight left in you. I'm saying that the real solution here is a national strike. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Will a national strike work? Strikes and national strikes are the only thing that have ever worked in this country for 200 years. You understand? They're the only thing that have ever worked. The last big one, I think, national, was in 1917. Go back and look at history, what happened there. So strikes and big strikes do work, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they do. And in this case, it's we are adopting strike actions which are low risk to us and very high risk to the occupation. Okay? We are playing it targeted. We are playing it tight and well disciplined. Now, they're all of our strengths. Now, on the other side, the weaknesses, we are doing this on a shoestring budget. We are doing this with volunteers. We are doing this with people who, work to the bone themselves. Okay. So, but we're doing it. What else is those others in the freedom movement, what are they doing? I'll bet you will never get them ever to utter those two words, belligerent occupation. They will never admit in any way those two words, ladies and gentlemen, belligerent occupation. They won't admit. You understand?
So I do have one here, John. After we are freed from the Babylonian system, will the type of people in our society who are currently landlords take the place of the cabal, but on a much smaller scale? Will people without much money just be paralysed by a different set of newly arisen selfish vampires?
I hope not. Look, my remit only goes as far as the strike motion says to remove the belligerent occupation. That's where I stop. That's where my remit stops. Okay? And I've discharged my duties to that effect. Now, insofar as the transition from once you remove the belligerent occupation and then the transition to a new nation that has been restructured and rebuilt, right, according to the wishes of its people, I don't know. There's so many possibilities in there for things to go wrong, and many other possibilities for things to go wonderfully right. I'm just hoping that we have learnt some lessons. If we have not learnt any lessons, I fear that once we get rid of this belligerent occupation, then the people themselves are going to go and rebuild exactly the same business model, exactly the same institutions that we've just spent 1,000 years trying to get rid of. You get me? We'll go and rebuild up our own prison planet if we've not learnt any lessons after what we've just come through. Okay? I hope that answers, Sarah.
Let us know, Como John, how to donate towards the administration costs for the national strike.
Well, look, at the moment they can't. All right? That's the simplest answer I can give you. Now, we may, I don't know, we may run a chook raffle, okay? We may run a chook raffle in the future, okay? And if that comes up, buy a ticket, okay? You might win a frozen chook. But for now, the simple answer is you can't. You can't. We don't have a donation button. There's no bank account. There's no nothing. And everyone that's working on it is volunteers and that's it. And I'm not taking any money. I don't. And I've never taken any money in 11 years, ever. So, it's just too messy for me, too messy. So they can't. I'm sorry. We just got to make do with what we got. And, I'm not saying we don't have donators. We don't. We have got them. I'll give you this example, Sarah. Listen, you see all these beer coasters and all of these stickers. Well, I paid, for a big chunk of it, but I couldn't pay for the rest of it. I couldn't, right? And I didn't have the money. So there was someone else who said, listen, give me the invoice and I'll just pay the rest of it, and you know, it's done. So I didn't take any money. It went to the guy who done all the print run. You get me? So that has happened, right? I have accepted help like that. But insofar as taking money in and putting it in bank accounts and all this, no. I don't have the ability. We don't have any of these bank accounts. I'm lucky to have one savings account. That's all I've got, and I'm lucky to have it because the NAB, the National Australia account, has already threatened me to shut my account down because of what I say online. Okay, so the answer is nice and simple. I'm sorry, Sarah. No can do. For now.
That's all right. Do you have any final words? We'll wrap up. We haven't got any more questions. So do you have any final words before we wrap up?
Sarah, only to say that I'm hoping to settle strike action number 1 and strike action number 2 down quickly, to get them both settled down quickly and get some rhythm. And we are testing and building up our communications, our emails, and all of our systems, and getting all that right. And we are looking forward to strike action number 3. We think strike action number 3 is going to get people's interest, and I think if we can make it work, we got to make it work. And I'm going to call for a crack test team of about 20 people to be the first test pilots of strike action number 3, to test run it, to try and make sure that it works before I release it. So just stay with us, keep going back to the cage, keep getting people to sign up, keep spreading the message. The gatekeepers are suffocating this strike. The vote should be triple. Should be up around 20,000, but the gatekeepers are suffocating it, right? And it's only through your energy and commitment that we're going to get over those gatekeepers, ladies and gentlemen. So get in behind it, mate. National strikes are the only thing that have worked in this country for 200 bloody years, mate. Nothing else has, but strikes work.